welcome. This is a standard suck. Yes, thank you, Lachlan. We've already introduced ourselves in previous episodes to Anne.
Lachlan?
Exactly. We both work for Opera. We don't say anything that our employee doesn't want. Actually, we don't speak for our employee here. And we're going to talk about HTML5, which recently, like yesterday or so, published new drafts. No, it was not yesterday, it was Tuesday. So what got published?
We got obviously the new spec and a diff document which explains the differences between HTML4 and HTML5. Talks about the element changes and attribute changes, stuff like that. And publication notes, which just explains the changes since the previous working draft.
Alright. And there's another thing new in HTML working group land. We don't have a co-chair. And Connolly left, or maybe not?
Well, we think he did. He posted an announcement saying that Mike Smith was appointed as co-chair while he was gone, but it's a bit ambiguous as to whether Mike's continuing as co-chair from now until now, or whether it was just an announcement following when he was actually
I think it's taking too long. We'll just wait for the W3C then. So new features, data attributes. Data attributes are awesome. They allow people to make their own crap up, and they prefix it with data dash, so it doesn't clash with things we introduce in a user agent.
Yeah.
So if they want to have their own disabled attribute on a diff, they can use data dash disabled. Yeah. And if we in the future want to introduce a new disabled attribute on a diff, a user agent can't do that because nobody else will use it, because people will be using the data attributes.
So it means you don't have to worry about using hacks with class names and embedding heaps of class names in there, or making up your own attributes.
Yes.
And you can do it without worrying about clashing with anything in the future.
Yes.
And they also provide a cool JavaScript API to work with the DOM.
Yes. You can use dataset dot something and is something, and then the dot something will be turned into data dash something is something as the attribute. So HTML5 also introduced sandboxing features. These are really cool. Basically, it's based on the iframe element because that was the most sane solution to do this. It gets two new attributes, well, probably a third one in the future, sandbox and seamless. The sandbox attribute takes basically sandbox the iframe, like no script support. It gets its own special origin for the same origin policy, and a bunch of other things. And it basically takes a list of values there where you can get exceptions to. For instance, you can actually allow scripts to be executed but in a sandboxed way, and various other things like that. And then there's the seamless attribute that allows you to style the iframe content from the outside, so styles will go through the iframe boundary.
So like client side includes, so like it's included within the document as if the source code was actually in the document.
Exactly,
itself.
yeah. You get the client side includes. So it's not just sandboxing. It's also like the whole new client side include feature that people have been wanting for ages. I know when I was building web pages in the early days, I didn't want to duplicate all this content. I didn't know PHP or some other crappy server side scripting language. So I used frames, and they're kind of harmful now, but with little iframe for the menu, it can be quite useful. There's also going to be probably going to be a doc attribute or something that takes a string of HTML that will then be sandboxed. This is because using search would require too much resources to be loaded, and would not be very effective. And you would still need to do some kind of sanitation, and it would not be backwards compatible because the stuff loaded with search would not be sandboxed in all the browsers. So the idea is that you would use the doc attribute and then you would use the search attribute in case you want this to be backwards compatible, and then you would have some server-side sanitation or something. Yes.
So we've also got Ruby annotation, which is not to be confused with the programming language Ruby. It's actually designed for Asian languages. Yeah,
that was funny when we first posted it, like ejection and such, and I still get actually emails in my inbox from people like confused about this Ruby thing. What is this Ruby thing? Can I use Ruby in HTML now? Can I program in Ruby? No, you can't. It's for annotation for Japanese languages, which I don't know very much about.
Yeah, it's basically you write your Japanese words and stuff, and you use Ruby annotations, and you put notes either above or below the text. I don't really understand it myself because
I think HTML5 only supports above the text, so you can align like characters with other characters.
Yeah.
The current design has some flaws that we're still trying to work out, because it does the fallback solution in the current HTML5 spec is actually quite bad according to various people. So we need to fix that in some way. We're looking for feedback. The current solution is mostly compatible with IE, but I don't know. Yeah. So we also asked Ian Hickson, the editor of the spec, asked the tag for review, because with the area, the bagel, we thought we'd do it early now. Yeah. So he made this whole list of things that we think that HTML5 will impact on the web architecture. And it's quite a list, given that HTML5 defines a lot of things for the first time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so basically the tag said, it's the technical architecture group, they said they don't really want to review the whole spec, they'll review sessions that they're specifically asked to review.
Yeah.
So basically Hixie wrote an email listing all the various features that he wants them to review, which basically covers most of the spec anyway.
Yeah, that must have been quite painful. So the other really cool thing is that we have some preliminary support for math and graphics in HTML. Oh, actually, graphics not yet, right?
Well, there's a bit of an issue with that.
Yeah, so we have MathML integration now in the parsing spec, and people can write MathML. We had Hixie added graphics support as well, but the SVG working group hijacked that, and so we're now waiting for the SVG working group to come up with something else to put in the spec instead. So we'll see how that goes.
They weren't happy with the way the parsing model that we'd included. They want a more strict XML-like parsing included, whereas the original proposal from Hixie was more a bit more lenient, like the HTML syntax.
Right. Yeah. Oh, well, we'll see how it goes. So the other thing is that since we both work for Opera, and Opera 9.5 released today, it has like HTML5 stuff, so we thought we mentioned it here, right?
Yeah.
So we have Canvas with get and put image data, and then lots of other small minor tweaks, improvements to fix test cases from Philip Taylor from HTML5 Canvas fame, and then various other things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've also got web forms 2 stuff.
Again, we still have it. It's not broke.
It's not brand new. We've had it for a little while, but we want to promote it. So people using it.
Yeah.
WebKit's got some preliminary support for some web forms 2 features. They've got input type with range already.
Yeah, no, I think they have a Google Summer of Goats guy working on this stuff as well. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be good to see.
Yeah. We have get elements by class name. I think Firefox 3 will have that too, and I think they will ship next week. So. Be awesome. I think you can use it for Opera, Firefox at least, and for the other browsers you'll just use something slower. I think WebKit might actually have it as well in maybe 3.1. I haven't checked, sorry.
That'd be great, because there's a lot of JavaScript libraries that implement it.
Yeah.
JavaScript.
And then at least they can run fast in the good browsers and a little bit less in the, what you want to do next?
No, you do online.
I'll do the next, alright. So we also have online navigator.online and online and offline events. So you can detect when the user goes online and when it goes offline. This is mostly useful for web applications and also for a widget platform. And we'll see this being used more in the future when you can take your web applications offline with all the other features that HTML5 offers, but only have like preliminary support in browsers. But we're just going to see that more and more. And you can do the last one.
Yeah, finally we got the tabindex attribute can now be used on all elements, or most elements, not just form controls. This allows you to make div elements or span elements focusable with the keyboard. So you can, if you're building a web application, you've got JavaScript events attached to those. People can navigate to them with their keyboard and activate them.
All right. Yeah. So I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah.
You can do the sign. And yes, so you know what this means, right? W from web. Standardcirc.org. See you next time. All right.